So you've decided to lead a small group. That is fantastic. Actually, small groups are the backbone of every church, of every age, of every size. You can look in the early church through the book of Acts, and you can find places where there are these dynamic gatherings of 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. But the real backbone of the early church were the homes where Christians would gather, usually in groups of 40 to 60, depending on the size of the home. They couldn't be much bigger than that. And throughout the ages, small groups who meet together between the large gatherings. That's really where the magic happens at Christianity. And Christianity is always about eyeball to eyeball, nose to nose, face to face. So if you are facilitating that, you are doing something that has been the very heart of the church forever. And I just want to give you 10 bits of exhortation, if I could, about leading a small group in your home that will make it more powerful for you and probably more permanent for you. Here's number one. You need to recognize that you are the church. When you get together with 8 to 12 people in your home, that's not something outside of church. That's not an addition to church. That is the church. The large group gatherings are great. They're important. They're inspirational. But we can only live on inspiration for so long, and that's when we need edification. And more edification happens in those small group settings, more personal encouragement, more life on life than will ever be able to happen in the large group. That's God's design. And He made us gregarious creatures. You are the church. Number two, there are three elements that are a part of every successful small group, outside the church or inside the church. Here they are: food, prayer, and fellowship. And I don't know how you're going to divvy up the time between those. Some people like a 20 minutes of food, 20 minutes of prayer, and 20 minutes of fellowship. Some people would like to cut the food down to maybe 5 minutes at a Sunday school hour or something, coffee and donuts, and then have a more extended time of prayer. Or maybe you're not ready for a 20-minute prayer time. It doesn't really matter how you divvy the time up, but those are the three elements: food, prayer, and fellowship, that need to be a part of every small group. And of course, that's all on the background of Bible study. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here's rule number 3. You need to have 8 to 12 people in the group. Any larger than that, and it's too easy for someone to be a wallflower. Any fewer than that, let's say you have 7 people in the group and one couple doesn't show up. Suddenly, you've got 5 people staring at each other, and if 2 of them are the more quiet ones, it's going to be a real limited discussion. Adult education states that the best group dynamic for the most people talking and sharing most openly is 8 to 12 people. If you get above 12, you need to start looking at dividing into 2 groups that would have 8 people, and then add 4 more until you can divide again and again and again. Here's rule number 4, and it follows on the heels of rule number 3, the 8 to 12 rule. It is 25% will talk unless you engage with questions. That is, if you have 4